Residents, McKenzie Valley neighbors, friends, and family. So it's a pretty exciting day here today in Blue River. It's good to see so many of you that we've worked with step by step to see this project through to today. So if the weather holds true, we might miss the rain that I know some of us are still drying out from the groundbreaking ceremony. Man, that was soggy. So just welcome to the Rose Street Cottages. This project is a culmination of 3 years of work for a dedicated group of community members. We've all learned a lot along the way and made a lot of great connections and some friendships and met some really remarkable and talented community partners. So thank you for your time, patience, and expertise from funding from so many organizations represented out there today. We appreciate our support from the federal government, state, county, and local resources. All of those agencies work together to make these 6 homes a reality. So our hope as a land trust is to take the lessons that we've learned and the relationships built here and provide more high-quality, family-accessible housing for the McKenzie River community, because we know that is sorely needed. So to the future residents of these homes, welcome. To the future kids of these homes, I'm actually very kind of jealous. If you grew up upriver, seeing blacktop like this is rare. There's going to be so much great scooter riding and roller skate riding. Yeah. Because I don't know, some of you city folks don't know roller skates and gravel, they don't mix. Okay. So thank you all for being here and celebrating with us today and for all of your help for making Rose Street a reality. And I'd like to welcome the CLT Executive Director, Ms. Tabitha Eck.
Afternoon. I'll act as somewhat of a MC and get up between folks and introduce folks as we move forward. But I've been with the organization just 6 months, and it's been a whirlwind. To be a part of these 6 homes finishing, wow. What an honor to stand here and represent the hard work of so many people. But this organization started just about 3 years ago. In fact, November was our anniversary. We are officially 3 years old. And in nonprofit years, we might as well be 50. I mean, we are doing big boy and girl work in building homes. And the Community Land Trust model is such an intriguing model. If you're not familiar with it, it's a nonprofit that exists solely for the purpose to buy, build, and hold land for the purposes of community development, whatever the community needs. And we're listening to those voices. We want to continue to hear those voices. 3 years ago and still today, what the community needs is housing for everyone. And we're looking, at that point, we were looking for partners. Who can help us do this? The community wanted to rebuild, and we were trying to find a way to rebuild ourselves. And that is what a community land trust offers the community. We get to hold our own land forever, keep it affordable for homes, but not just homes. The Community Land Trust gets to lean into whatever the community needs. That includes economic recovery. As we all know, those of you that live here and pass through here and visit here, it's not just the homes that were destroyed. Community was destroyed at the economic level as well. The two have to rebuild to be a truly functional and healthy world, and that is what we are committed to as a community, as a nonprofit. The folks that are going to stand up here who are our representative voices at the state and the federal level, they speak for us as an unincorporated 50 miles, right, of unincorporated towns. And it was hard following that fire for our voices to be heard at those high levels. And so we're going to hear from a couple of those folks that represent that voice, and what a powerful and humbling thing that they have chosen to do, to be elected to represent our voice. And so we appreciate their attendance here. But the rebuilding here in this town and along this valley has been the work of so many, many people on the ground. If you look at what has been rebuilt, it is humans, the people that live here and work here, that want to make this successful. The fire station, the clinic, the library. These homes, these were built by local organizations and nonprofits, taking this work into their own hand. And so what an empowering thing our community has in a community land trust. But as we were just starting, right in our infancy, before we even had officially a 501c3 formed, we found a development partner in DevNW, a very skilled organization with a team that has been alongside us along this entire path. We looked for funding. How could we build housing? And then we found that funding in Oregon Housing and Community Services. And we matched that with Summit Bank, our bank, who chose to make up the difference in that funding to make these 6 homes possible. Because it's a community land trust, we're going to keep the land. We're going to hold that for the community forever. We're going to sell these homes, and because we keep the land and we sell the homes, these homes are for sale right now for $250, $275. Unheard of on this river to find a home for a family anywhere close to that price. And we don't want to stop there. Because of the limitations of this funding, 80% AMI. We know that is not everyone and not most. We want to continue to build. We want to advocate for normal people housing at all levels, right, over the next few years. And we are hopeful that we are going to be positioned perfectly to implement that in these next few years. We have a number of organizations that have made this work possible. I talked about our development partners, but the people that did this work here, the contractors, NBC, Rexius, I mean, they have been extraordinary work, and we continue to work with them and want to work with them, and they're going to be our partners moving forward. But I wanted to bring up Emily with DevNW, who is that funding partner, who is that person that was at the charge. There's a beautiful picture of Emily and Lane walking through this when it was but rubble, envisioning, before we were in 501c3, before any money had moved, there was a vision, and it was the two of you walking this space that made this possible. So thank you for believing in this vision and bringing your team. I see you out there, Nora, your team, Josh and Jake, I know you're on vacation. That was so extraordinary to have this development partner be alongside us now and in these next steps. So Emily, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. DevNW, as Tabitha said, was an early partner on this project, and we were so honored that the board and early staff of the McKenzie Community Land Trust came to us and trusted us with this partnership. It has been a challenging project from the beginning. From that early vision, and the board and the staff have been with us every step of the way. It's really been a remarkable process and partnership. DevNW is a nonprofit here in Lane County and the Willamette Valley that prioritizes building assets and building intergenerational wealth for families. Affordable housing is a really key component of that, because without affordable housing, it's very hard to get ahead financially. And affordable homeownership has the double benefit of providing affordable housing and providing that asset building for families and that long-term wealth building that can be passed to the next generation. So we're excited every time we get to celebrate the grand opening of a CLT development like this. We know that these are going to be homes that allow people to build deep roots in this community or continue to build roots that already exist. It's going to be housing that makes sure that kids are staying steadily in the same schools and keeping their friendships and their teacher relationships and having better outcomes for graduation and for college because of it. We know that the families who live here are going to be key to rebuilding the community of Blue River and are going to be your neighbors and your friends and your babysitters and all of the things that come with a neighborhood and come with community. But I have to say it's extra special today to be here celebrating this CLT because we also know that there is a pattern in the wake of fires where speculators come in and buy up the land, and where housing jacks up in price because of that speculation in a place as beautiful as the McKenzie Valley because of vacation homes. And so having the opportunity to be part of keeping this land and these houses in a permanently affordable land trust that is operated by a local board of the neighbors of these future residents, and to create that kind of affordable housing here just feels extra special on this day, especially with all of the hurdles that we faced to get here. So I am thrilled, honored to be here celebrating, and I can't wait to see what MCLT does next in the long-term rebuilding of Blue River and the McKenzie community. One final note is that these homes were also built by, Tabitha mentioned, our newest affiliate of DevNW, Neighborhood Building Corporation, which is a general contractor dedicated solely to the building of affordable housing, which means that as a GC, they care as much about the quality and as much about the timeline and as much about the budgets as we do as the developer and as MCLT does as the long-term owner of that trust. We're really proud that this is one of the very first projects that NBC built. I'd just ask my team really quickly, DevNW and NBC, to please raise your hands if anybody has questions afterwards about, oh, thank you. Yeah, they all put in a big lift on this project and in all projects. Housing is never easy to accomplish. But if any of you have questions about DevNW or NBC or the process that we played in this, please find one of our team afterwards. And we would be happy to talk with you in more detail. And I will turn it back to Tabitha.
I would be remiss if I didn't name some names because it took many to make this happen, and many contractors that I don't even know the names of necessarily, but with DevNW help and NBC as our contractor, we were able to build 6 amazing homes. As you walk through them later, and there's 4 that are going to be open for tours. And you'll be able to walk through and see the intentional designs. We have BDA Architecture who put together these plans for us. We have funders that came together just to do the landscaping. Really, we leaned into the big C of community in a community land trust. And as you'll see these large open spaces, we have a pro bono architectural plan from Walker Macy. You'll see a picture down there. There's an intent to connect these homes in community, not just the reality of being neighbors, but in shared spaces that they can come together in. And there's incredible funding made this happen. Typically, you don't get that kind of landscape with these kinds of housing projects, but we were able to because a number of folks stepped up. Urban Water Partnerships, Upper Willamette Soil and Water Conservation District, Cow Creek put some money in for this landscaping as well. We have Rexius doing that work. Brink's a local bringing all this land together. As you walk through the homes, look at the trim. It was a mill, a small mill that milled that trim and made these pieces possible. So as you go through these homes, please know that they were incredibly intentionally designed and built and here just for the families of this community. The fire survivorship folks that are trying to work upriver remain our constant priority for these homes. We do have an open interest form available. Please share that word. These will not be the last homes that we build. And we want to get as many people into this home ownership opportunity as possible. Lots of opportunity in this next future. I was born and raised in this valley, but my husband was born here. In fact, I can almost see the road, Eck Pierce Drive, just a stone's throw away from here. But the reality was when the fire happened 5 years ago, there were no Ecks on Eck Pierce Drive. 2 generations had followed job opportunities into the city and moved away from the community, which is unfortunately a very, very common story with small towns. I know we're not unique. Many small towns in Oregon struggle with the loss of economy and a way to keep family jobs in the community. But we moved back 10 years ago. I spent the years listening to Marshall's stories about this town and how he got to grow up and ride a bike down the street to the store to get a black raspberry ice cream cone. He got to graduate with people he started kindergarten with. I wanted that for my children. And so we moved back 10 years ago so that we could do that, so that our children could attend the same school my husband did and his parents did before him. And we want to make that a reality for our community. We want to build back and build forward so that families such as mine can forever be a part of this community. And the person I'm going to have to come up next is Darin Harbick. I know way too many stories about you. Lane, you're laughing way too much about that. But I have my husband's memories of you. And Darin is one of those local community members, a leader that has grown and has chosen to put himself out there as our voice at the state level. I've heard stories of babies. I won't tell stories about you, but Marshall says that you gave him his first job. And he has seen you be a part of this community and give back, and you always took care of your employees. And you've always taken care of your neighbors. And so it's a pleasure to have you as our representative and to have your voice speak for this community at the state level and continue that advocacy for us.
Thank you, Tabitha. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today, especially with the governor joining us to celebrate something that means a lot to this community and to me personally. I was born and raised right here in the McKenzie Valley. I think about the good old days of the late 70s and 80s, not the 60s like some of you out there, but I remember playing baseball at the Blue River Park, running around the track back when it was still there at the park, and spending way too much of my allowance on the candy at Save-On when the Anderson family owned it. In high school, I worked just right there at Rich's Market and Gas Station. I remember ordering milkshakes at the Whitewater Cafe from a cute little 16-year-old girl with braces who just happens to be my wife today. We'd end our evenings with dinner at the Forest Glen restaurant, and sometimes, if we were lucky, we'd be able to watch a barroom scuffle spill out of the BRT across the street. That's the Blue River Tavern. That was just life back then. It was vibrant, hardworking timber community. These towns were fueled by the best natural resources Oregon has, our forests, and the men and women who work them. But today we face a different reality. Every year forest fires are burning the resources we used to build our livelihoods on. Instead of managing our forests with wisdom, harvesting responsibilities, thinning fuel loads, and keeping our communities safe, we're watching our greatest asset go up in smoke. And with it, the jobs in District 12, from Oak Ridge to Marcola, McKenzie to Cottage Grove. Families are losing opportunities that used to be the backbone of rural Oregon. I still believe, though, that when you bring people together, even people who don't always agree, we can get things done. So while I'll always advocate for active forest management, for protecting our resources, and for bringing back jobs to timber counties, I always believe in celebrating progress where we see it. And that's why we're here today. The Rose Street Project, 6 homes that will bring new development, new services, and new life into Blue River, is exactly the kind of forward momentum our community deserves. This project represents hope, investment, and a belief that rural Oregon is worth building into, not writing off. I'm excited about what these homes will bring: stability, opportunity, and a sign that we're not done growing. So today isn't just a ribbon cutting, it's a reminder of where we've been, what we've lost, and most importantly, what we can become again. With responsible policy, leadership that listens to rural voices, and with communities willing to roll up their sleeves, we can restore the strength and vitality that McKenzie Valley was built on. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Darin. The next person I'm going to have come up is Heather Buch. She too has been a true voice and advocate of our community. Lane County has been alongside the recovery process along the way. 50 miles of unincorporated towns, right? You are the governing body of our entire community, and you do so much, and you speak so strongly for us. She has visited. She is here every time we need her. I know half my board has her phone number and can call. Thank you for that. And that they are truly our partner in rebuilding, and we look to the county as our elected officials, but also as our voice, as we advocate for what we need, and you have truly been that voice. So thank you.
It's really wonderful to see everybody here to celebrate today. Thank you for coming out. I have been with this community since the initial fire and throughout our recovery process. You know, being unincorporated, redevelopment is very, very different than if you were inside a city. The rules and regulations are entirely different sets of codes. The obstacles to actually put things in the ground are exceptionally more challenging than even any of us thought they would be. This community never asked for other people to do it for them. They have always been 100% in and committed, but not one small community through a horrific fire can do it alone. And it has taken the entire state and federal government to come in and help these communities. At Lane County, we couldn't ask for better community partners to work with. Everybody who's been named already has put all their effort in. And I am absolutely 100% committed to this community and its recovery and ongoing, thriving community. Because there's a lot of people here that want to see this place really engage the way that it used to be. And time moves on. Not everything is going to be the same, but we can create what we want to see in the future. I'm proud with funding from the state of Oregon and a $4 million tranche that was delivered through the county to the community. $800,000 of that was sent out the very day we received it to help with building these buildings. In addition, we were able to add $90,000 in gap funding, and with that same bucket of money, we were able to contribute $200,000 for the purchase of land just down the street in order to do this again. This is going to be mimicked. We are going to be able to redevelop this community in a way that is responsive to the needs of today, but also because of the legacy that it has brought through the years. Thank you for all your participation in doing that each and every day. And I know that they have my phone numbers because I hear from them often, and I will keep it that way. They deserve to be able to connect with their representatives at any point in the process, and if there are problems, call me. We need to resolve them and move forward. Thank you.
We are indeed looking to the future. There are monies coming. I know they are coming. Those federal dollars for affordable housing are coming to this community, and we want to be a part of helping to build back, but build more. We can't go backwards as a community. We've lost 5 years of the natural growth that would come here, the families that would have moved here and been at our school, that would have been our neighbors. So it's not just those that we lost that we need to bring back. We need to make up that difference and be building forward. And that is what we purpose to do. I just love the Community Land Trust model as a nonprofit. I spent 10 years on the human service side. But the idea that a community can own its own land forever is such a cool concept. And I so appreciate the step of faith That big step that our board of directors took 3 years ago, nobody wanted another nonprofit. I see heads. Nobody wanted another nonprofit. If there was any other way to do this, we would have not existed, and we would have been happy to not exist. If there is anyone else to build and build back, we would happily step aside and let those folks come in. But we're not seeing those folks. So we're raising our hand and saying, we will be that person. We will be that entity. I'm astounded by the beautiful representation on the board of directors that makes this decision. So many, they wear like 2 to 3 hats each of other nonprofits in this community, giving us a voice that we hope to carry forward and build truly what this community needs. And we're looking forward to the opportunities ahead of us. There are so many opportunities ahead of us. And hallelujah, what a sunny day for a ribbon cutting, right? Our last guest will be our lovely governor, and then I'll beg your indulgence while we shuffle around and pull out the ribbon and get that board of directors up here, and there'll probably be some photo shoots and all that fun stuff. So we beg your indulgence while we do all those wonderful things. We only get to celebrate like this every couple of years, right? So we need to take those moments. But then we're going to open those homes. We're going to have board members staged. There's little flyers, and you're welcome to please take your shoes off. Or we got little booties. You can put little booties on your feet. We want these to be new to our homeowners, of course, when that moment happens. So hold your horses, please. There'll be cider. There'll be lots of visiting, cameras, all that fun stuff. But we'll get to see the inside of these homes and continue this celebration together. But please, Governor, if you could join me in, and thank you.
It's really great to be here this afternoon. And I did not bring the sun, but yay for the sun, right? One of the fun things about being governor is to celebrate with communities who've been through a lot and are looking to the future and are accomplishing so much together. So for the invitation to be here today, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. In celebrating the progress that we're seeing here and the present moment, we always, and I don't even have to say this, I think, we all have to remember the context of why we're here and what happened 5 years ago. We're here because, the worst happened. But we're here today because the best is happening. And the way the community has come together and the advocates you have here locally, Commissioner Buch, and I also have Commissioner Buch, and she has my number. She calls me. And Representative Harbick, and everybody who's here, elected, not elected, engaged with your community. You are creating something amazing here out of very, very difficult times, and it is because this community knows resilience, knows creativity, and as you've been hearing, the McKenzie Community Land Trust is an incredible partner for the state, for this community, for future growth, and it makes me proud to be your governor. Your success today is a testament to community-led recovery. There's no other way to do it. And we haven't figured it all out, but when the community leads, amazing things happen. And with the McKenzie Community Land Trust, the way you are taking on recovery and coming up with those ideas for future success and future resilience and sustainability of this community is truly, truly a model for the rest of the state. And we are learning from what you are doing here in this community. And we are learning as a state by the questions you ask, the concerns you raise, the frustrations you share, because we are all learning how to do recovery together here in this state. Everyone here today is part of the recovery story of the McKenzie River Valley. This is my first visit to Blue River. I cannot wait to come back. I haven't been to every corner of our state yet. It is lovely to be here. And I want to be here when Melanie's store reopens. So And when the folks here are shopping at that store and we should all go buy a brick, I need to know where to find how to buy a brick. And people are going to be in the parks, roller skating on this macadam. Actually, I was thinking hopscotch, actually, where you can take the chalk out and jump around, because that's what that means for the kids who are going to be here. Here in the state, I think we have really gotten so much better at the emergency response and what happens in that first 72 hours or those first 2 weeks, but we are still learning recovery here in the state. And what I love about this today is that you were showing the rest of the state how to do it, and that is really needed. And when I visited here in my first year coming in as your governor, and to listen to the community here in the McKenzie River Valley, I did not forget those stories. And we keep asking the questions about how we can make recovery work for communities. And I always come back to what's happening here in the McKenzie. And with the Land Trust, we have some keys to that future sustainability that we need. This blueprint is very important for the state. Building recovery partners around the state is really important. We are engaged right now in building a plan for a resilient Oregon. And just so you know, funded with some of the dollars that the federal government requires us to spend from a disaster from 5 years ago to plan for the future. So we are engaging across the state with communities about how we plan to be ready or more ready for the next time around. How do we support our small businesses? How do we get those dollars out the door early so things can be ready so when the federal government comes in, we can build right away? Those are things that we are learning together. And your leadership here is invaluable. And so if you sometimes think if you live in a small community that no one hears you or no one cares, I'm going to tell you that is wrong. Because you are doing things that are going to help us across the state do disaster recovery so much better. And I was actually getting a little teary-eyed listening to everyone speak. The partners who have come forward, DevNW, your construction partners, the foundations who have helped fund this, the folks who are going to live here, all of those things are what I think it means to be a state that cares for each other. Oregon is a very special place, and we come together when things are hard. And we do amazing things, and that is what we are seeing today. No one does this alone. You probably all have that little pit of you're like, oh yeah, I did this, or I did that, or I did 3 or 4 different things. Whatever, you all did something to bring us here today. Because real recovery depends on local leaders, community-driven solutions, and partnership. Lots of it, especially when money is tight. So as we go forward, 5 years after the Holiday Farm fire, you're teaching all of us a critical lesson. I couldn't be more happy to know that this is just the beginning of your housing development that you're working on. We're going to bring jobs back to community as well, because at the end of the day, this is about economic development writ large, and to have the Community Land Trust available to help with business development as well, commercial properties, that's a game changer. So one of the things I want you to know as your governor that I'm going to be with you. Call me, Commissioner. People have my number. Like we don't have it all figured out. But when we ask the question, say, can we do that faster? Can we do that easier? Where can we find that little bit of money to go to the next thing that we know is absolutely essential for community? Me and my team are going to be with you. Because I want the blue rivers of our state to thrive. And you are doing that with so much grit, with so much brilliance, with so much love and compassion for each other that, as your governor, I just really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you've done. And to have new homes and have people moving in, well, that's just like the cherry on the sundae. That's amazing. So thank you for allowing me to speak today. Can't wait to check out the homes and can't wait to come back. So thank you all, and congratulations on these new homes. Appreciate you.
I I think we all appreciate the resilience that we are thinking about the future. And please know that these homes were built with the future in mind. They were built to be resilient, firewise. That's that fun phrase, right? You notice the defensible perimeter around the outside and the metal roofs. All very intentional choices so that as we build back, we can build back resilient. But the deepest part, the true part of resilience is the connections, the partners that we've gained, the phone numbers that we have to call now. We know who next time, right? We're ready to step up for that challenge, whatever that challenge is, and hopefully the big ones are a long way off. But we're going to build in such a way as that we have the resilience to withstand, and we have the relationships to get us through those next cycles. The buzz is kind of worn off, 5 years, right? But we're looking at resilience is continuing forward. The work is not over. There's more that we want to do and need to do. And like the governor says, we want to be a part of that. And it's going to take all of us. So I'm looking at a lot of faces that have had a part in this community in supporting the economic recovery, and supporting the school, and supporting the nonprofits that have built back so beautifully already. And we want to support that across the entire McKenzie corridor. So thank you to one and all, to our guest speakers, to our funders, for those who believed in us as a small little nonprofit that has radically grown in 3 years and looking at taking on more. And we want to do that with you. So please help us know what to do as we move forward. We want to hear your voices. And we want to see these homes filled with families that are going to the school, riding their bikes, and that will be here for generations. So if I can have my board of directors, my founding board members, please come up. We're going to cut a ribbon. Come on up, board. All right. Folks, grab some cider, grab some cookies. We're going to open up those doors and let the touring start in here a few minutes. We're just going to stand here and take some pictures, and then we'll get to business. Right.